Okay, so today's pepper review is going to be on this hybridized black cobra pepper. Alright, so let's take a closer look at this random pepper that popped up, which is obviously a hybrid. And I'm going to show you some of the differences between this hybrid and some of the other plants I believe it crossed with. So let's look at the plant first and see if there's anything on here that we can identify and keep track of, because I am going to keep peppers to this, and I'm going to try to grow these out next year, and we'll see what comes out of them. So first things first, we actually got some flowers that are still on there, and this is a look at the flower. Give you a nice view of that. The plant appears to be a narrow leaf plant, and I'm kind of under the assumption that it's probably the Texas Mayhan that it crossed with, because like I said before, and I just recently did a video and an upload with the Texas Mayhan hybrid. It hybridizes with other peppers very easily. It's one of those peppers, if you're really looking to get into hybridizing peppers and you just don't want to goof around, just grow some of those Texas Mayhans among a bunch of your other plants, and that plant will spit out all kinds of crazy peppers will come out of that thing. So you might get lucky and get a really good cross, and if you could stabilize that, you're in luck. So I do believe it's the Texas Mayhan that crossed with my black cobra, and I'll explain why I believe it is that way. But let's take a closer look at the stem of the plant, and you can see a little bit of purpling at the node. If I can get you to focus. Okay, there's a little bit of purple there. There's no purpling on the main part of the stem, but then again, yeah, it did purple up a little bit there. Where are you? See right there? Purpled up a little. So it did get a little purpling at the base. It got really woody at the base. Oh, I got a visitor. What, I got a customer? Come on. You pain in the ass. And it did get a little woody down there, but so we looked at the leaf, we looked at the stem, and the stem appears to be very smooth and waxy. It's not hairy or anything. So keep that in mind, because I'm going to show you what pepper I believe this crossed with. And I do got these little aphids coming out of here, and they stink. But there's a little bit of purpling also on the base of some of these flowers, which is a little bit strange. And of course, here's the pepper that I'm going to show you and talk a little bit about. Now, you can see with this particular pepper that it's just one pepper coming out of the node, first of all. It's not an upright pepper, so the pepper just comes out and hangs down. Keep that in mind. It's very important. And you can see the shape, or you can see the shape and the color of this pepper. It's like black, but it's got that kind of translucent black smoky color to it. There's only one pepper I know of that actually does that, and that is the black cobra. So here's another one coming out. So this is putting out a couple of them. We're going to pick this one right here. Seems to be about the best. I'm going to let the rest of those ripen up on there, and hopefully I can get some good seeds for next year. I'll mark it and I'll name it, you know, HR2741 or something weird like that. You got to give it just a basic name like that in the beginning, because you don't know if it's going to stay stable. It might take 10 years before this actually stabilizes. And if it does, then you eventually can give it a name or something. But we usually give it those codes in the beginning just to keep track of it. So that's what it looks like. All right. And you can see wherever the sunlight is, it turns black. That's typical with these peppers. I forgot what they call that, cyanamine or something. But that black coating that you see on there, that actually protects the pepper and the plant and everything from sun damage and all. So that's like a natural defense system of the plant. So anyway, I believe that's crossed with the black cobra. And The black cobra is really the only other pepper that I know that gets this translucent black color. As you can see, it's doing the same exact thing here on the black cobra, and you can see the shape difference between the black cobra and this pepper. Now, I was growing serranos here, so it's very possible it crossed over with one of my serranos. I'd have to look into the species, because certain species, pepper species like annums and chiantis won't cross, and so certain species will not cross no matter what you do. But sometimes you do get these crosses that come through, and it's hard to remember every species, which crosses and which don't. In fact, I don't even remember it now. But some of them don't. And obviously I must have put one of these plants next to many of these others that seem to be crossing over. So, as you can see, this little skinny one here, that is the black cobra. If you'll focus, please focus for me. Alright, you can see that's a black cobra, but now I have this one, which is totally different and totally looks different. Now the black cobra, if you look at the way the black cobra grows, even though this plant's 6 feet tall and laying down, you can see that it's an upright pepper. So this plant usually puts its peppers out one per node, and it shoots it out straight up. It'll do that to all the peppers. You see how they want to go up? Now they're only laying down like that because the whole plant is laying down, you know. I mean, you can see the whole thing's leaning over. But if this thing was standing straight up like it should be, you would see the peppers are upright. This pepper here is not an upright pepper. As you've seen, as I just showed you, it hangs down. So this is not an upright pepper. Also, on the black cobra, you could also tell that the stem is very furry-like. Okay? You can see on the stem of the black cobra, it's velvet texture. It's one of the only plants that I know that actually produce that level of fur. I've never seen that much fur come out of any pepper plant. It's a very unique plant, the black cobra. And the plant that I just showed you down here, these peppers are coming out of a smooth stem. So it's definitely a cross from last year, and I'm not quite sure as to what to expect from this, but I'm going to let those couple peppers that are on there actually fully ripen, turn red and everything like that, so I can get good viable seeds, grow these out next year, and see if it returns back to a black cobra or if it turns into a serrano. That'll actually tell me what the parent is, if it does do that, and what it did cross with. But it'll also tell me if it's going to kind of want to stay stable, and it'll be worth trying to grow this out every year. Now, sometimes these peppers, you do this and they do stay stable. Sometimes you do this and the next year they go right back to their parents, so they don't stay stable. So it's a gamble. And sometimes you'll grow these out for about 2 or 3 years, and then eventually they go back to their parents. So it's very hard to keep these peppers stable. And a lot of times too, when you're growing them, even though it's not fully turned back into the mother or the donor, you know, anything like that, a lot of times you'll get both varieties on your plant. And that's like a stage just before they completely separate and go back to their original, the parents of the plant. So that's when you have to start phenotyping, and phenotyping means you're specifically picking a pepper that is growing in a certain way, and it has a certain shape and it has a certain look to it, and you keep that same phenotype going as long as you can, and that's how you stabilize a variety. A lot of times you just simply don't get lucky. I mean, I'm getting probably 10 or 12 crosses a year, and maybe one of them seem like they stay. So it's very hard to say, you know, that each time you grow these you're going to get a stabilized version because it crossed. It's actually a lot of work to stabilize these. But as you can see here, this is definitely some kind of a hybridized pepper. Okay, so now that we looked at that, let's give it a taste test. Alright, so here it is. And this is the hybrid. Now I'm trying to give you a good look so you can actually see it real good. And I do this like 2 or 3 times in the video, and the reason why I do that is because a lot of times the images don't come out clear, and I have to cut out almost all the images. And a lot of the footage gets removed because it just simply doesn't want to focus. So yeah, a new camera in the future is definitely on a priority list. So that's what it looks like. Now as I turn it, you can see it's still green on one side. This really resembles either jalapeno, or it resembles the serrano pepper. And I was growing serranos right next to my black cobra last year, so I really don't know what it is. So this isn't a fully ripened one either, so I don't know how it's going to taste. Probably not going to be sweet. It's probably going to be hot, but let's give it a go. Very nice pepper for a green pepper. I normally don't eat these when they're green, these really hot ones. I usually wait until they're red so I can get the full flavor of it. But this really isn't bad at all. It has a nice rich flavor that kind of hits the roof of your mouth in the back, where your taste buds are that pick that flavor up. That is a really nice flavor for a green hot pepper. Normally, like I say, with these I don't eat them green. A bell pepper, yeah. With these kind, no. You want to wait till they ripen so the flavors fully develop, and then you would dry them out or cook with them fresh. Man, I'm salivating from this. It's definitely got the heat of a black cobra. I'm gonna put this thing upwards around 20,000 on a Scoville scale. This thing is definitely. I'm feeling it. I'm not heat cupping, but it's definitely hot. It's hitting the very end of my tongue. I am coughing a little. My eyes ain't watering, but man, like my face is warming up from this thing. Whew! This thing's got some heat on it. It's definitely got that cobra heat. Very strange. It is warming up down my stomach a little bit now. It's kind of a creeper heat. It picked up heat as I was eating it. Now, as far as the taste goes, it has a really nice taste. It has that... I like to say cayenne, only because I know what most of you people who watch my videos know what cayenne tastes like. But it doesn't exactly taste like cayenne. There's a certain flavor that other peppers have that I don't know any way to describe it for you to be able to understand what I'm saying. If I say, oh, this has that cobra flavor. Now, the black cobra does have its own flavor. It's similar to cayenne, but it's not. And it's very nice as a dried pepper. The black cobra is a very nice dried pepper taste. So when I say cayenne, a lot of times I'm using it metaphorically. I'm not really trying to say it tastes exactly like cayenne. It's just generally I'll try to describe the pepper flavors as either habanero or jalapeno or cayenne. I generally stay within those three varieties of peppers to get you on track of where the flavor sensations are going. Do they exactly taste like a habanero when I say habanero? Not exactly. Sometimes, yeah, but it's in that area of flavors. And that's kind of where you want to go when you're cooking and you kind of want to know what kind of flavor you want to develop. You kind of need to isolate that a little bit because you may not want habanero flavor in your cooking. And so you want a pepper that doesn't really have that habanero flavor. So when I say cayenne, I'm just generalizing. I'm not really saying it tastes exactly like cayenne. Because most of the cayennes that I eat, every once in a rare while, you do get one that's kind of sweet. But most of the cayennes that I eat, when I eat them, are not generally sweet. They have that peppery red pepper flavor. And another thing I might associate it with is that red pepper, like the crushed red pepper you see in like pizza places, that crushed red pepper, that flavor. A lot of times these peppers have that kind of flavor, which is kind of different from cayenne, and it's kind of different from the other ones. I want you to understand the flavor profile. I get you in that ballpark with me. So if you're looking to grow something and you don't really like habaneros and I don't blame you for the most part, but you want something else, that's how I try to get you into that window of taste. Now, the heat is coming down. It's really not bad. Again, this pepper is in the cayenne type flavors. It doesn't exactly taste like cayenne, though. It does have, Cobras have like their own rich flavor that's not fruity. It has its own flavor, and it's a very nice flavor. I wouldn't say it tastes like a jalapeno. I wouldn't really necessarily say it tastes like a serrano, which is what this is. These are serranos. I'll be doing taste tests on these once they turn a little red for me. So they don't really taste like that, but it does taste like a Cobra to me. Outside of that, I'm not sure what else to say. I do have some seeds left on it. I think I'm going to save the rest of this, but as far as the heat goes on it, heat-wise, it's as hot as a Cobra. I probably wouldn't go too much further past 20,000 on it. It might be a little lower than 20,000, but in general, I'm not eating enough of these for me really to tell you any hotter. It just hit the end of the tongue. Nothing in the back of the throat, nothing like that. No tears, no ringing in the ears, nothing. It's a very easy pepper to eat. I mean, you're not going to eat that many of these because they are a really hot pepper, but you can eat some and you're not going to get hurt from it, so to speak. So, all right, that's it. That's a pepper review for the Black Cobra Hybrid. I'll leave you links to the Black Cobra pepper down below so you can check out the Black Cobras. I will offer seeds to this in the future if I could somewhat stabilize it and grow it and it comes out consistent like this every year. I will offer seeds to this in the future. But for now, I can't offer you seeds for it. So that's it. That's your review for your Black Cobra Hybrid. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.